We're back. Welcome back. Yes, we're back before you know it. And for once, that's not a marketing term. Philly Roller Derby skating against the River City Riot of San Antonio, Texas. And the prize here, 5th place. Stand by.
I'm Devnella, and we are very excited to be joining you. I like that I was standing up at the beginning there.
We're getting all of our papers in order. You don't want to see this desk from above.
It's not too bad. It's just that there's so many notes because all of these skaters have so many things coming up.
Yeah.
Some of them are aging out. So we're just trying to make sure that all of the information we want to bring you is going to happen. And why don't we get started on how we got here today? So this is the third game of the third day. But in terms of the number order, what are we looking at? Game number 15 in the open division. And I'll start with River City. So both teams had 2 wins and 1 loss to get here. River City Riot starting with a loss of 270 to 136 to Mob City Misfits, but then they beat California Mayhem yesterday. They had 2 games, 373 to 80, and the Sirens of Savannah 211 to 132.
Right, great performance. And Philly Roller Derby, they defeated California 377 to 18 and lost to the Attack Pack 282-172, but then beat Tampa 224-189.
And both of these teams showing tremendous skill, speed, powerhouse players stand by. And we are getting the official confirmation that their rosters are standing as such. We've seen in a couple of other games, especially in the open division, some injuries causing players not to make it on the rosters. All right, did you want to take us through the first roster there, standby?
Sure. Philly Roller Derby Juniors here in the open division wearing the blue. Number 10, Rainbow Crash. 100 is Stitch Glitch. 101, TIE Fighter. 13, Unstoppable. 14, Rough Red. 15, Motley Drew. 17, Takedown Diva. 171, Tomahawk. 180, Magzilla. 181, Maddie Longlegs. 20 is Yaga the Destroyer. Easy for us to say, Yaga the Destroyer. 394, Hermione Mamer. 409, Vegematic. 817, Boomerang. 888, Harley Spin. Teflon Donna, Devoid of Mercy, and Built to Spill on the sidelines.
Well, it does look like the action's about to get underway, but I will run through the River City Riot roster real quick here. Number 10, Joe Hurt. Number 100, Lemmy By. 13, Havoc Creeper. Number 1987, Evelyn. Number 23, Uptown Spunk. Number 26, Ninja Kitty. Number 27, Sam I Am. 35, Skull Crusher. 37, Little Ugly. Number 5150, Alligator. 73, Big Ugly. Number 777, High Roller. And number 800, Abby Nader. They are coached by Quad Stopper and Clockwork.
Again, prize here is the 5th place for the open division bracket. Mob City and the Attack Pack set to go at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. And the big one, yes, 6 p.m., 5 Central, 3 Pacific, the Diamond City Miners versus Des Moines.
And with this competition here, the championship tournament, we are seeing that every single team has to play for their final ranking. There is no default seeds or default ranks.
I like that. It is a secondary goal of 5th place for any team who lost prior to now, as Joe Hurt jams against Unstoppable.
Both of these jammers showing their strength and have been pretty much unstoppable for a very long time. There is a
skater losing a piece of gear from looks like a knee pad.
Thank you. Tom Foolery is our producer for this production here.
As Joe Hurt still in the back. Unstoppable almost had it there, but good recycling up front, and it is from the back. Lead jam, Joe Hurt.
And we have 2 blockers now from River City in the box. One of them, Big Ugly and Little Ugly. Those are twins picking up a penalty apiece in the first jam.
Previous game I announced with the River City Riot, it was by far Big Ugly, or was it Little? It was actually Little Ugly doing most of the jamming, Big Ugly doing most of the blocking. I don't know if they switch or if they ever change uniforms, but
I wonder how they determined that. Maybe it was the order. One's older, one's younger. I have no idea.
Determined by birth order.
Yeah, or actually, as Tom Foolery pointed out, there's a bit of a height difference there. All right. Meanwhile, River City picking up lead very quick.
That is High Roller versus Rough Red, who has about a half lap to make up in the remaining time of this jam.
High Roller being so fast and skilled at knowing when to do the call off.
And 0 points to show to 3 for River City.
Stand by. I've been looking forward to this matchup once it was determined because, as I mentioned, both of these teams coming out with veteran skaters, some of them aging out, and I'm looking forward to seeing those matchups. This one in particular, Joe Hurt and Unstoppable, both have been jamming a ridiculous amount over these last 3 days.
And we're seeing more of it, yes, as Joe Hurt's down, and it is Unstoppable lead jam Philly.
First lead for Philly, and there's a bit of a pileup there on the straightaway into turn 1.
Joe Hurt able to recover, takes the inside, builds speed.
Yeah, that pack moving fast now as it approaches turn 3. We'll see how many of those opposing blockers Unstoppable passed there. And we do have a low block call assessed on number 1-5. Oh, picks up 5 points.
Okay, back in the game. Of course, only 3 minutes taken, but Philly able to bridge that gap. River City Riot coach in the infield for a word momentarily as we line up again with Joe Hurt. And is that Tomahawk? Yes,
sure
it is.
is. Joe Hurt being one of the skaters aging out, also skating in the MRDA.
And Riot lead jam it is as Tomahawk threw the initial pass. And plenty of time to score, call it off. If there was any more blocking, probably would have had about 7 seconds to do so. 4 points scored unanswered. River City Riot 11-5.
And Joe Hurt, we were talking about that he was in the MRDA with the All-Star Anarchy. He's also on JRDA Team USA West. And standby, I know you mentioned that in some of your previous calls. You are basically seeing a number of those Team USA skaters out here. Of course, they'll get to flex their muscle Monday and Tuesday. Oh my gosh, that's tomorrow already.
Wow. Yep.
In the JRDA World Cup. It will be streamed live and free at twitch.tv/WFTDA.
High Roller with lead jam. Yes, many of these names you will hear again. And about a half lap lead as Unstoppable also through the pack and block. No, there's a penalty called and it's a cut.
Thought he could get by with a quick, stylish cut, or not cut rather, call off. And there we have High Roller, Unstoppable with 5 points.
And Big Ugly with a big block, but it is 5 points for Unstoppable.
Big Ugly almost getting goaded there by the Philly defense. Did not work, and now the pack speeding up quick.
Minute 14 left in the jam. Jammer standing.
Seemed to be effective there on Unstoppable, although a penalty block,
Out of play there by Philly blocker, also a Riot blocker headed to the box, 1-1. Aside from that, penalty box clear. High Roller completes the scoring pass for 4 points.
And this jam will go the full 2 minutes, still 50 seconds left.
And blocked out nicely, recovers about, drawn back a lot further than planned.
Both jammers on the outside there going in turn 1.
But through on the inside, okay, that worked, 5 points.
You cannot leave these skaters an inch. And 5 points for Unstoppable.
At an inch at their size, lots of sizable skaters in this game, especially on the River City Riots, as we've seen before. Blocker was out of play, so Unstoppable picks up where Unstoppable left off. However, points scored on behalf of River City Riot. 4 points it is.
Oh, and a nice one-footed.
That's more control than most of us have in shoes.
I had to stop because I was still in awe of what was going on there. So Unstoppable balancing on his one skate in a full starfish-type position, tilted over.
That's
so impressive.
That's for roller derby memes on Facebook. There's one for you.
And we have Joe Hurt taking the line now for River City, and number 10 on Philly here. That's Rainbow Crash.
Worth noting, 17-19, net just 2 for Philly in that last jam, but it is a 4-point game.
Both of those tripods digging in, not letting them get anywhere close to the pivot line. And we have a forearm call on a blocker there, I believe. Multiplayer, actually.
Okay, that goes against the pivot for the Riots. That is Allie Hader, Abby Nader. There it is. Letters.
And that's a big one for Rainbow Crash there. So far, there had been 4-1 leads for River City.
Skating into the pack was a call off in time. Points were assessed, and we're waiting on them to hit the board.
The referees are just conferring there, and 2 points for Philly. That brings them into now a 2-point difference, 28-26 in favor of River City right now.
Wow, the opening salvo by the River City Riot, but now Philly slowly coming back.
And the penalty box clear. Oh, not quite. There is the pivot for River City sitting there.
Still sitting, yes. 777 high roller on the inside.
Hops right over number 17 on Philly.
Oh, but high roller going to the box. Jam continues. Down ref in the outfield.
High roller, a fearless player. Big Ugly getting a forearm call. That will also cost him a trip to the penalty box. Unstoppable, not with the star pass, just a star stash. That means, though, that this jam will last a full 2.
Okay, a minute 28 to go. Approaching the pack and the disabled pack of the River City Riot.
Wow.
As 2 blockers in the box.
2 blockers out there. That's an easy way to collect 5 points, as Unstoppable just did that last scoring pass.
Losing another blocker now, but immediately has to return to play.
High roller getting tripped up there on the straightaway. And this pack is just spread out. It's every blocker for him herself out there.
5 points scored on that last pass, and both jammers back in play.
We do have another penalty assessed to Big Ugly, and there's a bit of frustration showing on his face right now. That's already 3 in the first 4, actually. No, 3. I'm looking at scoring numbers now from Tomfoolery.
And frustration on the studio audience on that call, too. However, as the referees with the best vantage point as jam continues, 32 seconds to go.
There's still plenty of time here. We're going to see a lot of opportunities for a piece there for High Roller and Unstoppable.
Big block in the back as blockers line up. And again, River City Riot at the at losing another blocker.
The penalties are now starting to roll in for River City. Big Ugly coming back out. They could probably use that power right now. High Roller now on his knees.
Pivot lost. No pack called briefly. Packs up again what remains of same.
The Philly defense proving its strength as well here. Now that was definitely aided by some of those penalties, though, that cost River City big time there.
Right, and 22-8 on that jam in favor of Philly. Official timeout called, unofficially 20:07 to go in the period. 48-36. It is a timeout for River City, by the way.
Stand by. That was huge. As we were talking about, both teams playing really well defensively, but there's hardly a way to do that when you've only got 2 blockers out there. And for a while, that River City pivot was stuck at the back. And so when you're able to split up those people, and of course you collect those points on the sitting blockers as soon as you pass that first opposing player, it adds up quick.
Yes, it did. And correction on the score, 22-12, net 10 still for Philly. Still an 8-point lead for Philly, and the lead change, in fact, on that jam.
And this is going to ramp up real quick. We have a pretty packed venue right now, of course, being that we are in Philly's, very near to Philly as it is, and the Philly Roller Girls, their senior team, actually playing an incredible host to the World Cup teams. I saw on social media lots of posts from scrims and practices happening in their space, so all the skaters are warming up for the action to start tomorrow.
And man, oh man, that's going to be fun. Also worth pointing out, Philly Roller Derby Juniors entering as the number 7 seed today, as opposed to the River City Riot entering at number 4. The prize here, 5th place.
And we're just learning, thanks to Tom Foolery, our producer here, that Unstoppable, we're looking, Philly has 48 points. 46 of those come from Unstoppable, and that 22-point jam being the highest so far in the first half.
And we have a game again. We had a game already, but man, oh man, when you see lead changes with 10 minutes into the game, nobody's going to run away with this one. But that's that World Cup. The fun part is going to be the round robin, and we announcers are going to be round robining also as bopping along with 30-minute periods, and skaters immediately re-entering the track, playing each other. Everybody plays everybody, and we're kind of joining in with that rotation as well.
And we have Joe Hurt out there on the line for River City, hopefully looking to make up some of those points. He has been a leading scorer in all of the last 3 games for River City, or among the leading scorers anyway. And we have number 1-4 there for Philly.
And official timeout.
Rough red.
We had opposing chants here on the track, and you know it's going to be serious. One thing I haven't heard yet, if Philly starts rocking the Rocky theme as they did when the adults played against the New Jack City Rollers a couple of years ago. That can be for not morale, but for or intimidation, just a slight intimidation factor. Hearing that excitement on their part, it's like, okay, and we don't have a song to sing back.
There's been so much noise from these bleachers. And you know what? That's great. We want to have the energy and the enthusiasm. But, yes, certain games, I bet you the officials can't even hear themselves. All right, River City does have a 2-jammer rotation so far. High Roller and Joe Hurt jamming certainly more than anyone else. And proving why, getting the lead quickly. A powerhouse bowling over those blockers.
Okay, rough red through. No, that was a star pass. And the star pass handed off to 171 Tomahawk.
And that'll call it. Looks like.
Quick jam, 3-point scored.
Looks like Joe Hurt picks up 3 points.
5-point game. There goes a star into your living room as number 13 comes back out. Yes, Unstoppable.
And no surprise here that Unstoppable will be skating with Team USA West in the World Cup and has skated for USA East and Northeast in the 2016 Junior Olympics.
Perhaps that should be Team USA East. We'll get clarification on that. But somebody pointed out something on Twitter with their with the timing of such. I think it might. Well, who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. But I think it's East.
All right. Well, I'm just going off the notes that
right.
Somebody compiled.
and we are not going to blame Scott Chicken because we want to continue.
I wasn't going to say a name.
Because we want to continue having those notes every year, copious notes. And thank you also. We had 100% participation from all of you JRDA teams on that, helping us compile these statistics, helping him compile these statistics. And also the interesting facts you've heard all weekend. We'd like to know more about the skaters and more about the team because we come from all over the North America to cover this tournament. The North America.
The North America. All right. So we have Havoc Creeper out now to take the line that time.
Alligator back in play. Penalty box is clear.
Pack staying really tight on turn 1 there. Dragging back.
And we reset, and a track cut.
Track cut call on Havoc Creeper.
Not quite resetting enough. And also losing a blocker.
Joe Hurt actually being the blocker there. Guess they figured he might be better used trying to stop Unstoppable, and gets a late hit call, I believe, or a blocking out of play. Illegal contact.
Illegal contact covers a lot of ground, and hopefully that gets clarified soon. I know they can add verbiage to that, but we can't hear the verbiage.
And certainly that will be a quick trip to the penalty box. Unstoppable already being released. And a star pass from Havoc Creeper to the pivot. Oh, but it was not done legally, meaning she went out of play there.
So the pivot, okay, so the pivot anyway resets to the pack. The helmet cover will remain on the floor, which editorial I am not a fan of and never have been. However, it is on the floor.
That's because the jammer who started Havoc Creeper is in the box again. So once she gets back, she'll be able to possibly pick it up and maybe complete that star pass if that's what's going to happen.
Meanwhile, Philly scoring 5 points plus at least 2 more here, met up at the closing seconds.
And it appears that having Joe Hurt on that blocker line did help there because Unstoppable held to 3 points for that last scoring pass.
8 points nonetheless, 56-43, 17 minutes to go in the period.
So what we saw there, and this is where you need to be paying attention to your referees. The pivot had it, thought, I'm going to go. All of a sudden gets an out-of-play call. That means you should not be putting that star on your head. And had she continued, had she put the star on and just kept going, she would have had a trip to the penalty box as well.
Good awareness there, avoiding that as Tomahawk jams against Little Ugly. Little Ugly with lead for River City. Looking to get back into it scoring-wise, about a half-lap lead.
Tomahawk sent to the box on a back block call.
So power jam, and this is the opportunity, and a call-off to ice the jammer. Okay, interesting there. That will possibly leave enough time for an initial pass and a scoring pass before the jammer comes back in.
And Philly looking to, or rather River City looking to control the next jam. I mean, you're going to need lead if you want to win this thing. And, of course, as simple as we've seen all weekend long, stay out of the penalty box.
It came back to bite the Sirens of Savannah last game. We'll see again as back to live action with Joe Hurt.
Big hit by number 17. Takedown Diva to the inside, drag back.
PHL 17 representing Philly with that block, definitely.
All the action happening there in turn one. Oh, big hit on number 101 TIE Fighter.
And blockers sliding after that attempt there.
And there has been a call on Joe Hurt. Although some confusion now, that's why he's hanging out there turn one. Yes, he did get an illegal contact call. Saw the head ref make the gesture. And River City also losing its pivot now to the penalty box. And meanwhile, Tomahawk making up for lost time, 5 points.
Right, and 1:05 to go in the jam. And scoring, almost had it, if not for the effort. That will be that is a 5-point pass. Okay. Referee had the perfect view of that, and another clean scoring pass.
Meanwhile, Little Ugly getting goaded at the back there by the Philly line has broken through. Now a full tripod setting up for Tomahawk.
Oh man, that's got to be the jammer move of the game, if not the weekend.
And then, of course, Joe Hurt comes out and pulls an apex jump, too, to get through. Picks up 4 points. So much toe stops there, stand by.
I just want to see this whole jam again.
And it just keeps going. We still have 15 seconds left. Now both jammers trying to figure each other out. Who's going to get where first? Joe Hurt blasting through the Philly line as Tomahawk getting held up there by River City. Wow,
what a jam.
Philly getting 24 points.
27 12. Yeah, net 13 or 15, net 15 for Philly. There it is.
I'm really glad that the camera's not looking at my wide eyes right now. That whole thing that just happened there on turn 3 with a jump over and then a little backward spin
Applause for everyone that jam, and perhaps another one as Rainbow Crash meets High Roller, and TIE Fighter returns to play. Pile up in the back.
Oh, but we have a forearm call on High Roller.
It's up to Rainbow Crash here, has to breach the pack, and
oh, big hit by the pivot there, number 2-5, or 3-5 rather, Skull Crusher.
Good recycling up by the River City Riot, as it was almost a certain lead jam, if not for that last second of effort.
Oh, we've been seeing this a lot this weekend. Just the lone foremost blocker giving everything they can right up until the engagement zone. That shaves off big time for Philly and lead right now.
Yep, and took it right up to the very edge.
We're hearing from Tom Foolery that was the 5th jammer penalty on River City, so they are giving up opportunities here possibly, but then making up for it. High Roller quickly out on the initial.
50 seconds to go in the jam, and Rainbow Crash calls it.
Well, picking up 5 points rather. So we've seen that lead change a little earlier on in the bout. Now it's sticking Philly Rollers at 88, River City 59, still very close.
And 5 unanswered points. One of the most important things to point out there as the tide turning, to use a sports cliche.
And we have Joe Hurt, unstoppable. We've seen this matchup a number of times, both powerhouses. And this is where defense has to be on point, has to be ready for those big hits. Oh, and now they're bumping up on one another.
And we will see if defense will be ready, as it appears the jam will continue.
Oh, and they are setting up in turn 3. Oh, quick little pass of the hips there by Joe Hurt, collecting 2 points there.
Yep, played with that call off, and the result, 2 points for River City.
This is moving so fast. Stand by. We're already just over, a little over 10 minutes left in the first half. And that was Philly's first lead jam in 10 jams. That speaks volumes to their scoring ability, considering River City had control of the game, but there were those jammer penalties stopping that control.
Amazing, yes. Rough Red now jamming against Joe Hurt. Huge opening on the inside, however, strictly defensive pack you see.
And we have some added help there with number 1-8 from Philly, 1-7 rather, Takedown Diva getting back on the track.
Rough Red hits hard, and it is the blocker sent out for that illegal contact.
That's Big Ugly with the pivot star. He's had a number of penalties so far. We'll catch you up to speed on all that in the half. Meanwhile, Joe Hurt collecting lead.
But not, and a cut on the Philly jammer Rough Red. So this will be a power jam, a minute 15 to go in the jam.
Wasting no time with an apex jump on turn 2. 5 points there.
This time slowing as the pack is ready, passive offense being played.
Oh, and it's a grind out there. We have Tomahawk and number 387 from Philly, or 394 Hermione Mamer.
And Tomahawk lets go in time and in position and returns to the pack.
And finally there, Rough Red coming out back on the track, and Joe Hurt not wasting any time to call it.
So didn't elect to ice the jammer, but still 10 points scored nonetheless, 71-88 now.
Unstoppable coming up against High Roller here.
Many of the fans off camera in turn 1. And a mixed pack.
Oh, and now they're coordinating those cheers. I'm seeing a leader lifting their hands and telling them when to cheer.
All right.
Okay, and we're now still in the straightaway, trying to figure out how these powerful jammers are going to attack. Joe Hurt, or rather High Roller out first.
Lead jam for High Roller, and we'll be approaching shortly on the scoring pass.
Unstoppable takes off the star.
Almost had the apex jump, but recycled back to turn 1 and
Oh,
down.
getting tripped up there on the pivot. Illegal tripping, of course. That wasn't anything wrong there.
4 points already scored, and another scoring pass completes. 5 points.
We have Big Ugly making things nasty out there. Okay, a star pass to number 817, Boomerang.
That ends the jam. 7:45 to go in the period. 12. Okay, so 12-1. 12-1.
All right, River City creeping up here, 83, Philly 89. This game is so exciting. We still have 7.5 minutes left in the first half.
Anybody's game, and yes, the prize is 5th place, and that is the highest that a team can go by winning, but then losing one game in one of the first games of the tournament. And lead jam it is
to
for
Tomahawk. Big smile around the track too, but right on his heels, Little Ugly putting on the speed. All of these skaters so fast. And an apex jump from Tomahawk. Decides not to call it, keeps going, looking at the coach.
4-4 jam so far, which eats up the clock but doesn't do much for.
Oh, and Little Ugly now takes over. Tomahawk looking to collect those points before.
Tomahawk blocked out by Big Ugly, calls the jam. That was a direction call
on Big Ugly. Those penalties racking up. Well, River City still able to squeak by 2 more points.
So yes, 10-8, net 2 in favor of River City. Took a while though for those 2 points, but still 4-point game.
Wow. This is what we came here for, Standby, is the final day of tournament play where you're likely going to see some close matchups. Everyone having played 3 games, or everyone putting their heart and soul into this final game with JRDA. Many of the skaters aging out as well.
And up front, well, not up front anymore. Up front is High Roller lead jam. Unstoppable recycled back. And making another attempt at it, sent out by Joe Hurt.
The lead percentage for River City has been impressive. They've had lead by a large margin more. Tom Foolery counting up those numbers quick.
Unstoppable not having a great time out there, just continuing to be blocked out at the last possible moment. Now, yes, through the initial pass.
And that's when High Roller will call it. Is it possible that River City has started to figure out Unstoppable's play? Likely, because
it is a lead change, 5 points, 98-97, 1 point game, 5 minutes to go in the period.
So Tom adding up those numbers here, 9 leads to 3. That's for River City. We've seen that so many times. And then there were 4 jams with no lead, and that's where Philly was able to come back and collect those large multi-scoring jams. We have an official timeout. You know what, why don't we take a moment here just to remind everyone that if you've got questions about the awesome action you're seeing this weekend and you just want to have a chat with us while you're watching these amazing games, use the hashtag #TalkToJRDA. That's the number 2 to chat with us on Twitter. And don't forget to follow JRDA on Twitter using @JRDA_rocks, ROCKS.
And back to live action, Rainbow Crash, lead jam for Philly. And a quick lead jam call it was.
Big hit on turn 3 that actually just takes out Boomerang. Little Ugly trying to cut through that Philly line.
Takes the outside over 2 down skaters.
So without lead, picking up 4 points already. Rainbow Crash still working through the pack here on turn 3.
And yeah, some people employing the jammer to call it.
So River City 102, Philly Roller at 100.
5-3 net 2 for River City Riot. 3:45 to go in the period. And the Philly coach is calling a timeout.
All right, well, they still had 3 times out. They hadn't used one yet. River City with 1. If you want to keep track at home, that's what those bars underneath the names are for. And no one has used an official review just yet. Reminder that this action is going to continue the next 2 days, and so many of the skaters we're seeing right now will be continuing to skate in the JRDA World Cup. So join us live starting tomorrow, twitch.tv/WFTDA. You can watch both days for free.
And the River City Riot, yes, we are scheduled to see Joe Hurt and River City Riot based in San Antonio, Texas. That will be JRDA Team USA West. As far as Philly, we are copious notes on Philly.
So many. We do know that Unstoppable, playing with Team USA, we're going to say East, and has skated for USA East and Northeast in the 2016 Junior Olympics. We also have Boomerang, we know, on Philly will also be skating Team USA West and has also skated, see, it says West again, likely East, and skated for USA East, Northeast in those Junior Olympics as well.
And back to live action, Unstoppable versus High Roller. And it is lead jam for River City. Looking to build on that 3-point lead going into halftime. We'll have at least one more jam after this, of course.
Penalty box clear. Maybe that's where they've been able to pick up those points as well. When you're able to have effective defense.
Unstoppable breaches the pack, and not 3 seconds later is the jam called.
And that's 0 for Philly on that go, and for River City as well.
So fair enough, reset. Don't take too much time to risk anything here.
And stand by, that was the first scoreless jam of the game as well.
Wow.
And that speaks to the numbers we're seeing on screen. 103 River City, 100 Philly.
777 High Roller against Rainbow Crash. High Roller, careful not to cut track. Maddie Longlegs, the defense. And now 171 Tomahawk, the defense in the back. Meanwhile, up front, jammer drawn back as well.
Those drawbacks being a big cost there, and it looks like, okay, we do have High Roller as lead. Thought I heard a call there, but that's not the case. And Joe Hurt doing what he does best up front in the pack. Well, now at the back.
Pivoting as that last line of defense, wherever it may be. And
we have a track cut, oh my goodness, assessed to Rainbow Crash, who was trying to look for a star pass. And this will be time for the defense to put on the brakes, but Joe Hurt for River City looking to make for some offense.
10 points, and with that block, calls it off.
Now River City deciding, you know what, why don't we get some fresh legs out for the next with the power start.
Potentially the final jam of the period, 113-100, and that is 10 big points at this point in the game.
Both teams having incredible awareness out there, knowing where each other is, and the jammers that they're facing are all more than happy to take any jump they can get, just not even an inch on the line to do so.
Joe Hurt with the power start, and Rainbow Crash is standing. And ooh. Okay.
So there's no lead assessed there. There was a no earned pass for Joe Hurt, so he's going to come up to try to score while Rainbow Crash is still eligible for lead at this time.
25 seconds gone in the jam, 42 seconds in the period to go. 5 points scored by Joe Hurt nonetheless.
That River City wall being super effective right now, keeping Rainbow Crash at the back of the pack.
Definitely a blocker's jam this time.
And Rainbow Crash getting bumped around. I hear whistles here. That's a call on River City, a direction of play call.
And that will go against the pivot number 13, Havoc Creeper.
Meanwhile, the pivot for Philly Roller Derby.
817, yeah, Boomerang.
And that was a back block call. Oh, big jump by Joe Hurt.
Sticks it for 5.
And we do have lead assessed to Rainbow Crash.
Period is up. 40 seconds to go in the jam. Of course, lead jammer calls it after 14 more points scored by the River City Riot.
Stand by. This has been a fantastic action-packed half. We've seen the lead change twice, 3 times, and we know that it's going to be a tight second half as well, because now the skaters get to go back, reassess, figure out who do we want to jammer match, how do we want to play this. We saw River City use Joe Hurt, one of their most effective jammers, out there as a blocker if Unstoppable was on the line, because that actually proved to be a bit more effective in playing defense.
Right, and we'll see if this River City Riot momentum can carry on as we sit at halftime 127-100 following that 14-point jam. And it appears to be we will have a 10-minute halftime here. You're watching the JRDA Championship Tournament live from Feasterville on WFTDA.tv.
Welcome back to the 2018 JRDA Championships. You're watching the Open Division game for 5th place. I'm Death Nella, joined now by Electra Cuter, and I'm very excited to be joined by Electra. You have been involved with the sort of broadcast and behind-the-scenes announcer aspect this whole weekend because you took an announcer clinic, but you're also a skater. So let our audience know a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Darlings of Destruction back in Michigan, and my number is 480V, which goes along with my name, Electrocutor, like 480 volts. Yeah. And, yeah.
That's a little bit about it. Now, you were announcing the house call for this River City Philly roller game, and it has been insane. 3 lead changes already. River City with 12 leads that last half, and Philly with 5. So what other action did you see out there?
I saw a lot of hitting. They definitely love to hit the other team.
Yeah, very physical game.
Yeah.
And so, Electra, you're going to help call this next one and take notes as we do so. You can always look at the screen, see what the viewers at home are looking at, or we do have a bit of a view of the track ourselves. And, Electra, there's just so much going on here in terms of the scoring. You said it was physical. How do you think that shaped up in terms of penalties? We'll get to the numbers, but do you expect that there were quite a few?
Yeah, there was a lot of penalties. At one point, the whole purple team was filled.
Oh my goodness, yeah, River City coming in, and that actually makes total sense because according to our numbers from Tom Foolery here, Purple, that's River City Riot, collected a total of 26 penalties that first half. That's a lot. And then 14 by Philly. Now, what we do need to watch for with River City Riot, Havoc Creeper and Big Ugly, both with 6 penalties. So that's a big deal. And do you want to explain to folks at home why that is a big deal?
That is a big deal because if you get 7 penalties, you're out of the game.
Yes, exactly. And we still have a whole 30 minutes left to play.
Yeah.
Big Ugly being one of their most effective blockers, or rather, we'll see how that plays out given that they've drawn 6 penalties. And then on the Philly Roller Derby side, they collected a total of 14 penalties, with the most being Motley Drew at 3. So they still have a little bit of play. Now, one thing we didn't get to in the first half was just announcing our officials crew here. The referees, Alan Your Grill, Scrim Reaper, Doesn't Matter, Lobocop, Wes Slamderson, Guinness, and Nelly Flyby. And Electra, if you want to give a quick read over the NSOs, that's our non-skating officials, that would be great.
TBD, Mama Panda, Guacamole, D Baggins, Obi-Wan Canopy, Mr. Surguy, BFG, Mean Bean, and Flow Block.
All right, and we're hearing some chants from the bench there. Also have a bit of numbers here for the points. Philly collecting 100 total, Unstoppable with 55 of those, Tomahawk with 35, and they drew 5 jammer penalties the first half. River City High Roller collecting 74 of their 127 points. Unstoppable, I don't think Unstoppable would be there. Likely Joe Hurt with 49 points and 5 jammer penalties in total. Okay, and our camera's veering off to show that's not even all of the people there on the other side of the venue. Now, Electra, you were down there. How loud is it?
Very loud, especially when the team that they are rooting for gets through the pack and scores those points. They really make you hear it.
And it can be hard to even talk or announce when that happens. And here we see the action taking place. High roller up first for River City, unstoppable for Philly. Both the jammers working through their walls, and we see Unstoppable take lead. But right out of the pack fast is High Roller. The pack now speeding, being in turn 3. Unstoppable calling it while in the pack, but a penalty was assessed. A back block call on Unstoppable, so he will start the next jam in the penalty box. Electra, as a skater, how much does that sting, whether you are the jammer or perhaps you're the blocker that has to deal with a power start?
It's really hard because you want your jammer to come out fast, but if they're not speeding up fast enough to get to the penalty box and get out of the penalty box, it makes it harder for you because then you have to hold it even longer.
And right now we see the Philly wall trying to hold strong. They're just on turn 1. And there was a multiplayer called on the pivot there, the Philly pivot. That's Boomerang. Lead assessed to Little Ugly. His twin brother, Big Ugly, the one that we were talking about with 6 penalties heading into this half. And that's 5 points. Decides to call it off just as Unstoppable is released from the track, from the penalty box. And you were down there, Electra. What is the vibe like in terms of the teams? Are you hearing a lot of communication between skaters?
There's a little bit of a lack on some parts, but for the most part, they're very good at communicating.
And we have Rough Red on with Joe Hurt. Lead already for Rough Red. That pack chasing fast. Oh, a forearm call on Joe Hurt, giving Rough Red a power jam. An effective sweep tomahawk and one of the other Philly blockers. The crowd going wild.
Yep.
And an apex jump for a quick 5 points there. Meanwhile, the River City Riot captain, Alligator, is out to strengthen their wall. Rough Red cutting quickly on the inside line, collecting 5 points. Joe Hurt now back on the track in turn 3, getting a big hit by Boomerang and Tomahawk, dragging him back. Rough Red pushing on that front wall, that River City front wall. Some impressive toe stop work, but I'm hearing an illegal contact call on the Philly jammer, Rough Red, and a low block call on Lemmy By. So now a chance for River City with the power jam. And it's a grind. Looks like River City choosing to play passive O, or rather not playing O at all, allowing Philly to bridge to continue that engagement zone. And that drew a multiplayer call on Philly. Rough Red coming out of the box. Joe Hurt on an initial. There's 3 seconds left in this jam. Oh, 5 points rather. Thank you, Tom Foolery. He's our eagle-eyed producer for this game. Electra, there was a lot that happened in that jam. What did you see out there?
I saw that the jammers were having a little bit of a hard time getting through because they have very great blockers, but eventually when they got through, they were pursuing.
And when you get those back-to-back power jams, right, that also creates an interesting dynamic where you have one jammer from one team with that advantage, and then all of a sudden the other team gets it. When you're out on the track, how does that feel?
It's kind of scary because you're kind of confused on what you're supposed to be doing sometimes. Sometimes you think you're supposed to be helping your team, but then when you're helping your team, here comes the jammer.
And in this game, they're trying to help all they can. They're playing for 5th place. Now, coming up next in the Open Division, we just want to mention at 3 o'clock, Mob City takes on the Attack Pack. That's for the bronze medal here at the 2018 JRDA Championships. And then at 6 o'clock, these times are all Eastern here, we have Diamond City taking on Des Moines for first. And you were able to catch some of the action yesterday. You joined us on the stream for those games. And what are you expecting to see as we get to even those higher level games?
I'm expecting to see a lot of fast pace jamming because obviously the lower you get, like it's going to be a little bit slower, but the higher you get, like they're really just like fast is what they do.
Yes, that is a really great way to describe it. Oh, big apex jump. Has he been assessed lead? We're seeing referees pointing. The jammer referee losing the... Oh, there we go. Finds High Roller with that lead finger, as I like to call it, pointing at the jammer with lead. Unstoppable, getting by. We do have a late hit call on Little Ugly there, the pivot for River City. Okay, Philly picking up 3 and River City picking 3, so no lead change. We do have the coach conferring up there. So Electra, while this official timeout continues, how have you been enjoying your time behind the mic?
It's very interesting. I've actually never done a broadcast before, so it's very overwhelming, but it's fun.
Well, that is awesome to hear, though, and we're here to guide you as you have guided us with all your insight into Junior Roller Derby. And right now, back to the action, a track cut call on High Roller means Tomahawk's able to collect lead there for Philly, a chance for them to control a jam in the second half. Joe Hurt on the defense. We've seen this a number of times in the first half. Oh, Tomahawk getting pinballed there by Lemmy By and Joe Hurt. That's 5 points for Philly. Already Little Ugly out of the box. Try to add some defensive pressure there up at the front. Tomahawk staying in on a one-toe stop. Picks up 5 points. And there we have High Roller out. Ref showing an initial pass. And we have 4 points picked up again by Tomahawk. That's a 14-point jam for Philly. Closing in, we're seeing now Philly only 3 points away, 137 to 140. Now, Electra, you skate. You know how tight that is. How do you think these skaters are feeling right now?
They're probably feeling very stressed to get through the pack and get those points, because I know when I jam, my mind is only on getting through and like nothing else. Like I kind of just space out on what's in front of me.
That's a really good way to put it. There's so much action happening and you have one goal to go and score points. Little Ugly out quick for River City with lead. Big apex jump. Lands it for 5. I think he's taking your advice, Electra. That was really quick. The fast, the focused. We do have number 17, Takedown Diva, out with a low block call. And the captain for River City Alligator getting an illegal contact call as well. A big hit to Little Ugly there on turn 3. Does not pick up points for that scoring pass. But River City netting 10 there. So we have a score of 150 to 137. Now, of course, those skaters cannot hear us, Electra, but they took your advice and they made it really quick out there. All right, we have the skaters lining up. Oh, a helmet cover being thrown onto the track. Not sure what happened there. Believe that was a pivot helmet cover because High Roller from River City wearing the star. Big apex jump. Number 181 there, Magzilla trying, but just not fast enough to get over that inside line. High Roller coming up on that pack quickly, does so hoping to get in. And Electra on that one there, we saw High Roller coming in kind of hips first. Why would that be an important idea?
If you come in hips first, it's going to hurt more than shoulders because your hips are typically more bonier than your shoulders, depending on what type of body type you have. But when you come in with hips, it kind of just gives more force.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to add some impact into those hits. And of course, as you pass an opponent's hips with your own, you're able to get those points. So maybe a last-ditch effort there. We do have Unstoppable and Joe Hurt out. So now we're not seeing Joe Hurt on the defense for Unstoppable, seeing him on the offense and collecting lead as he does so often, especially in the first half as well. Do have a penalty drawn on Ninja Kitty from River City. Remember, River City getting into some penalty trouble early on. And 3 points rather, no, 2 for River City. So River City getting lead 5-2 times. That's Philly only with 2. And we're getting some great feedback from our producer, Tom Foolery, who's keeping us up to date with all those numbers. River City at 162. Joe Hurt out again, but Rough Red making quick work of it, getting lead. Big Ugly as well with a pivot cover there for River City. Remember, he is at 6 penalties right now. Rough Red out quick with 5 points. And that speed showing, that's the JRDA style we've seen all weekend long. Big hit by Big Ugly on Rough Red. That'll call off the jam quick. Rough Red does pick up 1 more point there. So we have less than 20 minutes left here, Electra. And when you see a score this close, how does that make you feel? Because it's roller derby after all.
When I see a score like this, there's not really much I tend to think. I just kind of try to get to my happy place and get it done.
Yeah, when you're out there on the track, because things can happen so quickly. In the first half, we saw 3 lead changes. High Roller getting by Boomerang, no problem there. The pack speeding up. Unstoppable, going fast. The Philly defense slowing things down. And there was a jammer penalty called. No, never mind. I thought I saw him making a trip to the back. Oh, a forearm call on number 17, Takedown Diva with Philly Roller Derby. We have to check on how many penalties she had. Philly did not have as many penalties in the first half. And right now we see the attack pack warming up just off the track area here. And an official timeout. Okay, so Electra, let's have a good read through here. There's some actions coming up. So let's remind everyone what's coming up next.
Join us live on twitch.tv Monday, July 23rd and Tuesday, July 24th for the Junior Roller Derby World Cup. Streaming live by WFTDA. Head to twitch.tv/WFTDA and watch both days for free.
And we're going to see some of those skaters out there right now for High Roller and High Roller, River City, and Philly Roller Derby skating for one of the USA teams. High Roller out with lead. Unstoppable getting caught up on turn 1. Oh, Tomahawk, rather. We have the incorrect name up on screen. Although Tomahawk did draw a cut penalty, will be going to the box. And that'll mean the Philly defensive line needing to hold back High Roller, which is proving to be difficult right now. Takedown Diva goaded up at the back, now trying to take on High Roller by herself. Big hit by the Philly pivot. That's number 20, Yaya the Destroyer. Sticking with her name. River City picking up 14 points there. We're seeing that lead start to stretch. And Electra, you have now the last quarter of the game coming up, still not quite there yet. If you were out there, what would you be thinking? What would your efforts be if you were Philly right now?
If I were Philly right now, I would be probably having a pep talk with my team and telling them that we can still make it and we can still do it.
Exactly, and Tomahawk, of course, now back on the track, does not have the star on his helmet. Cutting through, coming up against Big Ugly there. Or is that Little Ugly? Sometimes I'm not sure. No, that's Big Ugly. Because Little Ugly is jamming, as Tom Foolery points out, picking up 5 points. And an illegal contact call on. All right, never mind. Thought I saw one. Oh, on Joe Hurt, yes. And we're going to switch up. That was a really fast jam there, Electra. 9 points to River City. And in terms of, we talked yesterday and you said that you like to block. What is being effective right now in the blocking strategies that these teams are using?
They're definitely using staying close to the other team, because if you stay close to the other team, the team that is trying to get their jammer through is going to make a hole, but then when they make a hole, then the other team is right there so that they don't have any chance to speed up and get the points.
And right now we see Little Ugly sent to the penalty box on a back block call. Unstoppable could start to put on points now for Philly. 5 points there. The blockers just ahead of turn 3. Joe Hurt putting on the defensive pressure there as the pivot for River City. Tripping up on his own skates. 5 points for Unstoppable. Both teams bracing with their tripods. Oh, and there was a quick handoff to Joe Hurt. Little Ugly passing the star. And that will force Philly to call it off, not without picking up 3 more points. 1 more point, rather, for 11-0. Okay, and we do have High Roller taking the line for River City. Electra, why don't you give calling the action a try? I know you were down there with the announcers. What are you seeing happen right now?
I'm seeing the jammer attempting to go through, but being blocked by, is that Big Ugly?
I think so, yeah. Tom Foolery with a head nod.
Yeah, and I'm seeing the River City getting lead and coming back up to the pack to get through once again. A little bit of falling there, but coming right back up and trying to get right through.
Yeah, and the pack starting to speed, but Rough Red with the star in hand, getting around turn 4 quick. And the whistles are blowing. River City still has one more timeout. Philly with 2 more timeouts. That was an extra 4 points there for River City. That lead widening, but there's still 12 minutes left in the game. And at this point, there will be, I'm hearing whistles. Is that a official review? No, that's the 5-second call. So Electra, take us through the action here.
Okay, so Philly is going around the packs to get to the other team. Sort of struggling, but I think she might get through soon if she takes the outside line. Oh, nope, she's got a penalty.
And it looks like it's an illegal contact call.
So now is it a power jam for River City? And she's getting through right now, skating very fast.
And that's Alligator. She has lead. That was assessed about 20 seconds into the jam.
And she just got right through that pack. Barely even touched them.
Yeah, she used a very dipping low technique out on the outside to do that.
And she's back up to the pack, coming in through the middle.
Putting the pressure on. Oh, and look who's out there again, Electro. We have Rainbow Crash. Wasting no time coming out of the penalty box, skating right into that River City wall. It has just been difficult.
And she's out.
Oh, Alligator with a
no.
cut track call now. So no lead anymore. This jam will run the full 2 minutes. There's still 35 seconds left. A back block call on Boomerang. And right now, Philly could use some offensive help to get through that River City wall. They do have the power jam. Are they able to help? Or will River City penalty kill? They've got a full strength line there.
Well, they're coming in to help now.
Well, it looks like that power jam, okay, it just ended. But we do see that Alligator, who was wearing the star, has fouled out of the game, and she will not be returning. So at this moment, while the officials take a quick moment, likely to make sure all the paperwork is in check there, Electra, I wanted to thank you for joining us. You did a great job. And just before you leave, what are some of your final thoughts? We're under 10 minutes left in the game. What did you like seeing out there?
I liked seeing all the teamwork and I'm guessing communication because they seem to be following each other very well. And the jammers were really working hard even though they were struggling to get through. And that is great. Like, that's what you need to do.
Well, I had so much fun calling with you, and you are going to go nowhere but up from here. That was a great first broadcast, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, so now joining me on the stream will be Tom Foolery. You've certainly heard him already today. He knows his stuff when it comes to the open division. He's been watching intently. Tom, I was just saying that you know this open division. You've seen these teams skate, and you've been watching as our producer. You know some of the stats and the way things have shaped up. How is the second half going so far compared to what we saw in the first?
Well, right now we're seeing they started with 127. That means right now you already have 84 points on the board for River City. In the second half, only 54 for Philly Rollers. Right now, lead jam just dominated by River City. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 out of the 15 total jams dominated. Well, what can I say? Getting a fresh perspective from a skater who's played against these players. Electra, phenomenal job. Thank you for coming on and joining us.
Yes, she was just great. Yesterday she came on for a little bit just to get a feel behind the mic, and we do want to thank Tool Time, one of the announcers and broadcast callers here, who put on an announcer clinic for the juniors. Had about 5-7 skaters, not only skaters, just juniors come out and have a go at it. They have been phenomenal. As you said, that perspective, Tom, especially at this level, they know JRDA as well, and they understand this is the future, this is where things are going.
But it's also nice to get in the head of a skater. You asked an important question. What would you be thinking right now? What would you be trying to do? a lot of times us externally, there are plenty of skaters. You skate yourself. I myself do not. I love seeing the insight. I mean, I've played sports my life, but not roller derby. Seeing the insight of what's going through the head, especially as you're up, you're down. What are you trying to do to change things up? Right now, it looks like we have an opportunity. The official review is over. Now it's turning into like an official timeout. We'll wait and get clarification. Unfortunately, as you pointed out before, Alligator, unfortunately, skating off. Too many penalties.
And that has been River City's weakness in terms of gameplay here. They started the half already with 26 total points, Alligator with 4, so she picked up 3 more this half. Of course, there's less than 10 minutes left in the game, and with a game so physical, as Electra pointed out, you're going to have that.
Okay, so what it looks like, there was some intermission time there, so Skull Crusher was standing there. It looks like the foul happened, couldn't return to the track with Alligator, but now released. Skull Crusher now has the star on top of the helmet. Oh, jumping off the track.
A quick little change out. Little Ugly taking the star, coming up against Unstoppable. Perhaps some jammer matching happening there. And Little Ugly again with lead. He's had a very effective game as well, getting out with lead. Now he has drawn a few jammer penalties as well. Unstoppable getting held up by that River City wall.
Yeah, good hit on the outside, able to slow Little Ugly, but Little Ugly only be able to slow for a brief period of time. This is his 5th lead jam of the half and calling it off.
We do have a cut track penalty assessed to number 15, Motley Drew from Philly. And a reminder that, yes, blockers also do get those cut tracks. And we're seeing it at the JRDA level, Tom, because this is just going so fast. It can be really difficult to keep that track awareness.
And blockers realize that 1 point could be a huge thing. So just trying to get that blocker off the track. You give your jammer that one easy pass past that one blocker. And if you're not paying attention, especially with that jumble of a pack, I don't even know how you have any idea what's going on.
And now we have High Roller out. It looks like Joe Hurt is taking on the pivot position. We were seeing him jam more with the star from the start, but it proves to be a good way to keep Big Ugly off the track as he is sitting at 6 penalties.
All right, so coming back to the action, 209, River City 154. River City having a great weekend, but Philly, the crowd is really into this. This is the first 2 times pulling out wins at Champs, day 1 and yesterday. Now they're looking to try to finish strong. 7.5 minutes to go. Pretty tall order against this River City jamming rotation of Joe Hurt, High Roller, and the miscellaneous other players helping out.
Oh, but Little Ugly pulling out a very pretty inside lane run to grab lead.
Pretty is the exact right term. They have beautiful skating by the jammers of River City all weekend long. Looks like we have a star pass to Boomerang.
Sure thing. Boomerang now coming around turn 2. Little Ugly waiting for the call. 4 points there. This is when you're watching a little too closely to the jammer referees. They're doing a great job out there.
Hey, our referees have done a great job all weekend long. Thank you to all the volunteers and NSOs, as always, taking care of everybody here. Now, just a quick tip. Right now, not a lot of scoring in the last 4 jams, but no points put on the board by Philly in the last 4, while slowly one pass for River City.
Rainbow Crash out on the line there for Philly. But High Roller getting lead, having a high percentage of that as well. Pack slowing there on turn 2. High Roller just cutting through that blocking line. Joe Hurt putting on the brakes there as Rainbow Crash comes up against him.
You said high rate. Yeah, 4 out of 6 jams, lead jammer, and big scoring, multiple scoring passes by High Roller every time.
Oh, big apex jump attempt. Did not land that one.
Wisely called it off on the ground, though, as the jammer was coming up from the star pass. That was 20 who took the star pass for Philly. That is Yaya the Destroyer.
River City knowing that one way to just keep their lead right now is to ensure Philly doesn't score any more points. I know that sounds like basic maths, but that is one way to keep that lead secure.
Might be basic math, but it's a lot harder to be done than it is to say.
Exactly, and it is a game decision. Do you want to keep running the clock, or do you want to make sure that they don't get any further ahead?
Well, right now, River City's just trying to stay as clean as possible. If they keep the skaters on the track, the odds are in their favor, and this jamming rotation so consistent.
We do have Havoc Creeper out on the line for River City, which is an interesting move considering she has 6 penalties. Unstoppable, blasting through, has lead, but still getting caught up. That defensive line has picked up his style, and they know what to do and how to expect it.
Yeah, having a monster week in scoring the majority of the points in the last 2 games that I saw. So did pick up a couple more points in that last jam, bringing them up to 157.
And that's the first time Philly has scored in the last how many jams there, Tom?
7 jams. Oh, my gosh. The defense standing tall. We've been talking about these jammers for River City. Obviously not enough about that defense.
Yes, they have just been putting on the pressure. And I know I've said that a number of times this weekend, but these junior skaters, they are changing the game as we know it, evolving it, and reminding us why those blockers are so important. We do have a lead assessed to High Roller.
Yeah, it's something to be said about that competitiveness, just stomping down as the game comes out, trying to close it down. River City showing us what they are made of.
Big Ugly with a pivot. Oh, sorry, Joe Hurt. And we've been seeing that signature move as well, just hands up in the air.
I don't know if you got the saw. High Roller came around the box and pointed right at Little Ugly. He said, keep on going. Keep this jam going. I'll get free eventually.
Although, doesn't quite do that. Little Ugly standing up.
But no, that's good wherewithal, because first thing his thought was, let's check the box. How much time do we have? Is it worth keep going? Killed as much time as possible, then called it off at the very last second as the jammer was coming up.
Well, High Roller will be staying on the track to do the next jam. High-fiving there with Unstoppable. Just couldn't see it on screen. And that speaks as well to the sportsmanship, the friendliness of the game. Even though they're in high stakes here, competition, playing for 5th place right now.
Well, it's funny seeing all the skaters joking around and talking to each other before. How high did he just get on that apex spin / jump?
That's the best way to describe it, Tom, is the weird little spin on the inside. It was beautiful. And we're seeing beautiful skating by really everyone. The blockers, their agility. A no earned pass there by Unstoppable, but gets through. Oh, we do have a jammer penalty on High Roller.
Yeah, we didn't get what the penalty was, so this opportunity here to try to eat into this lead here by Unstoppable. But, dude, tough going. We were talking about that defense. Now
Ooh.
Little Ugly standing tall.
Little Ugly, though, with a direction of play call. And I know he's been in the penalty box a number of times. Not sure what that nets him. We do only have 2.5 minutes left in the game. High Roller.
Right now, if he fouls out, that's one thing. Right now, River City trying to keep this clock rolling and keep players on the track the best they can. That monumental effort to pick up 60 points plus.
Oh, and a bit of work there by High Roller.
Oh, Joe Hurt out there playing the defense, laying the big hits out there. Unstoppable, got to get back up.
And Unstoppable tripping over one of his own skaters there.
Unstoppable look like starting to show some wear here in this jam. It's been a long game. He's been working very hard the whole time. A lot of skaters starting to feel it, you can tell. Unstoppable calls it off after one more big hit. I got to give that kid a lot of credit going out there and taking the big hits.
And going back for more.
Oh, I'm sorry, tried to call it off. I heard the whistles. There was something else must have been going on. Not lead jammer.
But now the jam is coming to its natural conclusion. And Tom, it's totally normal. There's a lot of action happening. We have all this stuff going here.
Little Ugly going around the outside, whooping up the crowd, getting the River City supporters, making some noise. That's a good thing because you got a ton of Philly supporters here in the corner.
Yeah, it's been a really fun event to be calling here, Tom, because so much energy. We feel it from the skaters. We feel it from the crowd. The officials working overtime as well.
It's funny seeing all the smiles on all the kids' faces who are skating and playing. What's more impressive, if you look around the outside, there's smiles on all the parents and families supporting them. They've supported them all year long, getting them into practice, taking them to all these things. Just seeing the pride on everybody here makes this all just worth it.
The JRDA family includes all family. You're seeing parents and aunts, uncles. I had a chance, Tom, to actually go out and watch a couple games just in the crowd, just to feel the energy, and it's there. They care. They know all the calls. They don't always like all the calls, but it's definitely showing that energy. And we're seeing some hugging happening.
River City living it up. Meanwhile, big chance coming from Philly, trying to get a little extra energy into Philly Roller Derby, get them set for the rest of this game. Power start right now.
And Philly with some aging out skaters, Yaya the Destroyer, Maddie Longlegs, and Tomahawk as well.
Oh, impact players. So it'll be interesting to see the new recruits come up and be an impact and see if they can get back here next year, because this has been a wonderful showing. I mean, they have risen in the ranking based off this just championships alone.
All right, we have Rough Red coming up against Joe Hurt in the pivot. And that pack spreading out all around turn 2. Bridging going on everywhere. Oh, and Rough Red getting knocked out to the outside.
Joe Hurt showing that lateral move. It kind of reminds me in an impact player, kind of like V-Diva, be able to play offense and defense. Cut track is the call once again on High Roller. High Roller finishing in the box. Couple late penalties here.
Oh, and Rough Red not going to risk track cutting there.
Look, the defense, Joe Hurt once again. Wonderful pivot, wonderful jammer, complete player. That's what we like to see. I guess that's why playing for Team USA.
Yeah, sure is. And that's coming up in the World Cup the next 2 days. Meanwhile, the River City wall, Boomerang trying to open some space there. Boomerang also playing on Team USA East.
Looked like Rough Red had enough there, through a hard shoulder drop, and one of the blockers now hitting the Jets to get out.
And she's through, does not have the stomp, but that's okay in this case because she's on her initial. Didn't have an opportunity to score points anyhow.
Still got a big roar from the crowd as she went by the stands where it had all the Philly skaters, and jumps in apex for good measure. But
gets
no.
a cut track.
Oh, this place was going to erupt. Even though they might have been losing, it was going to take off with that apex jump.
Meanwhile, High Roller already being released. Oh,
he's fouled out, so no jammer left.
And that will come to the unofficial close. Yeah, Tom, that's one way to end a game. I think that's why High Roller was shaking his head so much.
Yeah, he picked up a couple penalties in that last jam, hoping maybe get one and stay out there. But River City, we can't say enough. All weekend long, they had a short jammer rotation, but it was explosive.
This whole game explosive, and we are so honored to have been on the call for this one. And Tom, you were handling production for most of it, and you got to see the numbers, but most of all, what are you taking away from both these teams?
I just saw the consistency of the jammers getting out. Like, Philly's defense all weekend been very strong, but for some reason, that jammer rotation of High Roller, Lil Ugly, Joe Hurt, just able to solve that defense over and over again, and that was the difference in the game. They just constantly were getting lead jammer status.
And Philly has a lot to be proud of. They came in as the 7th seed. Okay, they're taking 6th. And then River City Riot, who came in as the 4th seed, taking 5th place. And that does lead us to our next 2 games we want to tell you about right here, WFTDA.tv. At 3 o'clock, all times are Eastern. We have Mob City taking on the Attack Pack. And then, of course, the final, Tom.
We're all waiting to see Diamond City Miners taking on Des Moines. Explosive teams. We haven't seen them that much because they've been staying in the winning bracket, but my gosh, they can skate.
So lots of action coming up. You definitely want to stay tuned. I've had a great time calling this. I'm Deathnella.
I'm Tom Foolery.
And stay tuned for more action from the 2018 JRDA Championships.